Good afternoon, Dan. I hope you're well. FP1 was pretty interesting. I mean, you can't really judge too much on pace because we simply don't know. We literally don't know. Nothing, was obvious in FP1. Teams weren't running to their full capacity. What we do know though is that some cars were struggling for sure. Hamilton looked like he was struggling. Verstappen was definitely struggling between turn 9 and 11. Something he's going to want to hopefully have improved for FP2. So some teams, weren't exactly on it. Aston Martin didn't show their pace. So we'll see. You're a little hungover after work drinks. Well. Work drinks on a Thursday. That's wild, yo. I meant to grab my glasses as well. I guess I just don't want to see. I'll have to grab them after. I'll be alright for now. I'll be alright without them for now. I thought Harry did okay, the replacement commentator for Crofty. Made a few mistakes in FP1, but nothing serious. He sounds quite a lot like Alex Jacques. It's not Alex Jacques, but he sounds like him. It's been a weird day today as well. It was raining overnight. The sun was out this morning, but now the sun is kind of gone in. It's a bit cloudy, but it's super warm. UK weather, man, it's unbelievably unpredictable. Yesterday, it was nice in the morning, monsoon in the afternoon, and then the sun came back out. It's impossible, honestly, to gauge. The weather's just so up and down. I really like seeing the cars going around this circuit, though. One of the things I really liked from FP1, and if you've seen one of my latest videos on the track changes, you'll see they've put gravel in a lot more places where there used to be runoff. Turn 9, at the top of the hill, then down towards Aqua Minerale, there's gravel, not water. That would be insane. Although the Alpine would do quite well. There's gravel in a lot more places now, and drivers were struggling. But when they were struggling, they were ending up in the gravel, and it was. I don't mean it was nice to see, but it was kind of old school, and I enjoyed it. Mistakes were really punished, and they will be punished in the race and qualifying, and so yeah, I kind of liked it. Afi, how you doing? Apparently, there's going to be rain on Sunday for Imola, but it'll be dry today and tomorrow. Hey, Diva, how you doing? Good eve. Unlikely, Dan, because the changes have only just been made. Just to be clear, Dan, they've only just updated Spa, having had an old CAD version in the game for the best part of 12 years. So I wouldn't expect much. You need some help from an F1 guru. Well, I mean, if I can help you, I will. What do you need help with? I'm really interested to see the pace of the. I mean, we won't know the true pace until qualifying tomorrow, but Red Bull especially, I want to see where Max Verstappen's actually stacking up with the Ferraris and the McLarens. We won't know properly till tomorrow, but he was definitely struggling a little bit in FP1. So, how many finishes do I think there'll be in Monaco? There's usually not that many crash out these days, unless there's a big incident. I would say 18. There might be a couple that drop out, but honestly, for the most part, there isn't that many. There isn't that many failures or anything. What was it in 2023? Let's have a look. I think it was 18. Yeah, I think it was 18. I would say 18. I mean, would be a reasonable guess, you know. Thing is, there could be a huge fucking pile up at turn 1. You just never know, do you? Hi, Sponge. Right, cars are going out now. How many goals in the FA Cup final? Well, FA Cup final is United versus City. And I, as you know, am a United fan, even though it's becoming harder and harder to be a United fan. However, the way that United are playing at the minute, I think Man City will win like 3 or 4-0. Obviously, I hope they don't, but that's what I think will happen. I think as well, qualifying will be on at the same time. For Monaco, yeah, 3 o'clock. No, prize is yours. Fill your boots, dude. I think Man City might give United a bit of a hiding, though, based on the way United have been playing. I'm not filled with confidence, put it that way. But you know, sometimes when United do play the top teams, sometimes, not always, they pull something out and they might be able to put in a performance. But I still think City are going to win by a couple of goals at the bare minimum. So. Well, wind makes a pretty big difference. Formula One cars, you've got essentially 3 types of wind that'll affect it: a crosswind, a tailwind, and what's the other one called? You basically, if you're going into the wind, or the wind's behind you, or if it's a crosswind. The wind behind you can make a huge difference because it can change the speed you're carrying into a corner. You're going to lose less speed because you're being pushed from the wind behind you. Likewise, if there's a very strong wind going into a corner, you could brake a little bit later. Crosswinds are the worst because obviously massively affects the balance of a car across a corner. Some cars are affected by wind way more than others. Headwind, that's the one, yeah. I had it in my head and then I lost it. Ironic that. So yeah, some cars are affected by it worse than others. Atmospheric pressure, I've no idea about that. No bloody clue. I'm sure there's some nerd that will be able to tell you, or more of a nerd than me that'll be able to tell you about atmospheric pressure, but sadly I'm not clued up on it. Altitude, that makes a big difference because what you tend to see at Mexico, despite the fact that it's a very, very fast track, they run very big rear wings because they need the downforce, because there's less downforce generated at those higher altitudes. So that's pretty interesting. So altitude affects the cars quite significantly. Looks good, Aqua Minerale, with the gravel around. Well, I'll tell you the truth, Wilco. I don't know. I don't know who's cooking. Although it looks pretty hot in Italy, so presumably all of them are cooking to some degree. FP1 was kind of hard to gauge. The Ferraris look good. The car looks balanced and quick. I'll say that based on their upgrades. However, I doubt anyone was really giving it the whole beans, you know. As I say that, Norris goes a little bit quicker than Charles Leclerc. Max looked like he was struggling in FP1, but I mean he's just put the quickest time in there, so. No one's got trapped in the chicane, but quite a few people have got into the gravel at Aqua Minerale. And, oh God, I can't remember what number it is. Is it turn 17, 18? After the final chicane, down the hill into the two left-handers. I can't remember the name of the corner now. What was it called? Oh, Rivasa. So Hamilton went into the gravel. Well, he didn't really go into the gravel. He ran wide, but both of the RBs went very deep into the gravel at Rivasa. We saw Max, Lewis going into the gravel at Aqua Minerale. So we've seen a lot of cars skipping over the gravel, but no one's got stuck in the gravel yet. Juice, how you doing? I like that sponge. Ain't no Verstappen him now. He's on the move. Yeah. I think my gut instinct, based on what I've seen so far, which I appreciate isn't a lot to go on because teams don't show their full hand, I think we've got a race on our hands for the weekend. I think Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull are going to be pretty close together. I think they're going to be pretty close together. I want to know this as well, right? Max Verstappen is doing the 24 hours of Nords this weekend. Now, obviously, he's racing in Formula One, and at some point Saturday evening, he's going to do some stints in the 24 hours of Nords. But what I want to know is, where is he doing those stints from? Does he have a simulator at the track or something? Like, where's he actually doing it from? That's what I want to know. He can't be traveling home. It's like a 4-hour drive, isn't it? Oh, Gasly going for a spin at the chicane. Yeah, imagine just driving it from the cockpit. Yeah, you're probably right. He probably does know someone close. So Max already happier with the balance of the car on this medium tyre compared to what he was in FP1. For those of you wondering as well, Max, I'm not sure if it's the same for FP2, but in FP1, Max did not have Jean-Pierre Lambiase as his race engineer. Jean-Pierre is at the circuit. It's just Red Bull like every now and again to change things up to give people experience. So that's all that's happening. Jean-Pierre will be his engineer for the rest of the weekend, including, you know, the race and what have you. He is at the circuit. Charles Leclerc's changed his race engineer. He's been... Xavi is no longer Charles Leclerc's race engineer. It's kind of... It's not clear why, only that Charles said he didn't request it. It was a choice between Xavi and the team, and he's moved somewhere else within the team. So, I think it's Ryan something is now Charles Leclerc's engineer. Something like that. I can't really remember. Oh, Quinto, thanks for the 29 months.
Hadz crash.
Well, I hope he's got good enough internet in his motorhome. Oh. Max 2/10 up on Sonoda's time, who was currently in P1. Red Bull looks a lot better down into Aqua Minerale compared to FP1. I'm not sure it's better without Crofty, to be honest. Listen, I do find Crofty sometimes can be a little bit... Just some of the stuff he says isn't great and doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, but I think, you know, he's fine. So he has a rig in his motorhome then, okay. That's cool. It's cool. It's cool that he wants to do it. Like in the middle of a Formula One race weekend, he that's what he wants to do. It's cool. I personally would like to see Alex Jacques getting a commentary chance. I like Martin Brundle. I don't think Martin's there this weekend. I like what's going on with Hamilton here? I don't know what. Oh, okay. Hamilton. Fernando wasn't happy with Lewis being in the way. Alonso not happy. Yeah, the people here I like. I like Karun. I like Martin Brundle. I love Anthony Davidson. I think Anthony Davidson is so good in the commentary box. The way he explains things, his demeanor. I think I would love to see Anthony Davidson be a more regular color commentator. I really think he's really good. If you ever listen to the WEC, the World Endurance Championship, he does a lot of commentary for that, and he's brilliant. So Karun, I like. Button is good. Anthony Davidson, Martin Brundle. I'm a big fan of what's her name from Red Bull. She used to work at Red Bull. Now she does work with Sky. I can't think of her name now. Yeah, Bernie Collins. She's great. Naomi Schiff. I like Naomi Schiff. She's good. To be honest, I don't even dislike... I'm not a massive Rosberg fan, but I don't dislike his commentary. Usually it's pretty fair, to be honest. So I don't hate it. Yeah, his commentary isn't good, but his... I don't mind his analysis. I should probably caveat that. But yeah, I don't love his commentary, if we're still talking about Rosberg. When Crofty says, oh, take it... I tell you what, when Crofty says, oh, take it away and run us through the lap, he can't do it. And that's fine. That's not his natural thing. It's the same when Damon Hill was in the commentary box and Crofty would say, oh, take us through the lap. And he would just be like, right, so, yeah, he's going through this turn now. Oh, yeah, looked a bit scruffy. So, yeah, heading down to the next turn now. And, yeah, look good through there. Yep, that's his analysis, Damon Hill, when he's in the commentary box. Rosberg's got a lot of insight because he's been there at a high level, being a world champion. So he's got a lot of insight, but commentary isn't his thing. So, yeah. I don't love the HP logos on the Ferrari car, to be honest. I don't love the way they've integrated them. Yeah, do you know what? I'm not a huge fan of Damon Hill's insight either. Oh, here he is. Speak of the devil. Yeah, that is very true, Jester. Well, what was the... It's hard being a commentator, though, is it? Like, I'm not saying I could do it either, because you've got to think of things in the moment, and I get tongue-tied and tongue-twisted or tongue-tied. I'm not sure what would be the correct situation, the correct terminology in that situation, which is ironic given the subject matter. But, it's very easy to just get things ever so slightly wrong when you're trying to say something and recall something in the moment. And then, what happens to Crofty is people pick up on it. You said, oh, you said this driver, but it was this driver. And you referenced this race, but it was this race. And it's obviously very difficult when you're trying to recall all these facts in the moment. Or you're trying to talk about something in the moment and you just say the wrong word and don't even realize you've said the wrong thing. Crofty does that a lot, though, which is... I think what sets apart the really good commentators who are able to do it so naturally and the people that maybe struggle a little bit more. Really good insight from Damon Hill trackside here, by the way. If you're watching the broadcast, really, really good insight from Damon Hill. Yeah, they do, Daz, but you imagine in the moment, you might have 10 pages of notes. But what are you going to do? You're going to... You have to have some things memorized, and then when you have a chance, you're able to, look in your notes. But sometimes you're going to have to, in a moment, you're not going to be able to look at your notes. You're going to have to recall something. So, yeah. Yeah, Ferrari 1-2 at the minute, but it's not going to stay that way for qualifying, I don't think. But I think they're going to be a lot closer to Red Bull and McLaren. I really, really do. The car looks like it's handling pretty well. So Mercedes, I think, would just be so frustrated because I think their problem is that the teams behind Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, they're just so much better than they were last season. They've just improved so much, and I think it's just made Mercedes' struggles far more apparent. What we haven't seen so far this weekend in either FP1 or so far in FP2 is Fernando Alonso and those upgrades on the Aston Martin and exactly where that puts them in the pecking order. Obviously, they won't have gone flat out just yet, but we haven't really seen the promise of those upgrades yet. So we don't know where they're going to be. Yeah, Damon Hill, ironically, he kind of commentates like someone who's never seen a Formula One car trackside, doesn't he? Which is ironic considering he's a world champion, driven the cars, but he often does seem like someone that's quite starstruck about what's happening. Like, ooh, a Formula One car. Maybe that's a good thing, though. It just, you know, even as he gets older, he still, you know, doesn't get old for him. Yeah. It's a... Are you a hairdresser, Jester, or something? It's a 0.5 going to a 1. I normally just have a 1 these days. I normally have a 1. But I decided to have a 0.5 going into a 1 just because my hair gets really long and just wanted it a little bit shorter so that I can hopefully not have to go as much. Do you know what the thing is for me, right? When I go to the hairdressers, it's 20 quid now for a haircut and just a beard trim. I think it's 18 quid if you just want a haircut. Ideally, my hair grows fast enough that I in an ideal world, I'd need to go once every 2 weeks. But I'm not being dramatic here. I can't afford to be spending £40 a month just on a haircut. Like, I just can't. And in some months, depending on how that would sit, that could be 60 quid. Like, I can't be doing that. That's just madness. So normally I let it hang for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So at the end it starts looking a bit scruffy. Yeah, I mean, listen, right? This is what I don't understand. I know I'm not Mika Richards, and don't get me wrong, he always looks sharp, doesn't he? But if I go to my hairdressers and have a haircut for 20 quid, ain't no man or woman in the world that can do something so incredible with my hair that I'm going to pay someone another £180 to cut it, no matter how much money I have in the bank. None. Like, if I can get everything I want for 20 quid, why am I going to pay someone an extra 180 quid? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's mental. It boggles my mind. I don't care how much money I had, I wouldn't be paying 200 quid. Listen, if you're in London, you might have to pay 30 quid. I don't know, 35 quid for a proper haircut these days. I don't know what the price is down there. But 200 quid, Jesus Christ, that's insane. It's just mental. He says he has his haircut 3 times a week and pays his barber 200 quid a time. His barber's just on a full-time job cutting his hair. It's bonkers. Anyway. Right, George Russell's out on track now as we come back from a commercial break. He's out on the softs. 10th down on Charles Leclerc's time, though, which was set on the mediums. So that doesn't bode well for Mercedes. Again, complete unknowns of fuel loads and engine modes and all the rest of it. Caveats. Yeah. 2/10 down. No, it doesn't, does it? It looked a bit slow and sluggish going into the corners. Especially, I noticed this on Lewis going in FP1. I felt like he was really delayed going into Aqua Minerale. Like, getting the car turned to into Aqua Minerale and up the hill just seemed like a bit of a struggle. George Russell crosses the line and he's 1.5 tenths down on Charles Leclerc's time. But Leclerc's time was set on the mediums. Russell's was set on the softs. Now, I will say this. We've got the softest compound of tyres here. So the soft is the softest in the range, the C5. And it's the first time we've been to Imola with that compound. There is, in theory, a chance that maybe the soft won't hold on in certain tyre temperatures for a whole lap. But I expect everyone else to improve on the softs, to be honest. You see Norris 2/10 up in the first sector on Leclerc's time. Looks good, that McLaren. Really does look good now. I hope that both McLarens have a good qualifying, though, so we can really see what the pace is for both of them, you know, flat out against the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. Alonso goes 6th on his soft tyre run. Interesting. Norris, though, is currently half a second up on Charles Leclerc's time. Oh, touches the gravel. Oh, he bailed. Wow. I'm really surprised he bailed on that because he was half a second up on Leclerc's time. And he definitely lost time going through the second Ravazza, but he would have still been quicker. Someone was asking a couple of questions earlier as well. Someone asked about Bottas and his race engineer. I can't remember what the question was now, but I remember there was a question. And someone asked as well about the pink head padding material. I have no idea. I think it's the material inside the head guard. As to why it's pink, what the difference is with the pink one and any other colours, I am not sure. Could be fire resistance or something. I honestly don't know. Charles Leclerc just did a 15.9. Crikey. Hamilton did his soft tyre and ended up in 3rd place, 7/10 off Charles Leclerc's time. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, that is something. Yuki Tsunoda up into 4th. We were talking about how Ricciardo needs to step up this weekend. Yeah, he's currently down in 14th. Again, doesn't matter where he is in practice, but Peter Bayer doesn't look very happy. Looked like he was shaking his head, like, ugh. I was going to do some racing this week. Yesterday was my plan. I was going to do it in the morning, but then I couldn't because I had to take Joe to work, and I was going to miss at least one race. And so it just wasn't good timing. And then, long story short, I couldn't do it in the evening. And so I'm not really sure when we're going to do some racing. I might just put it off until Monday now. And we'll do some Nords on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll just kick off. I think Suzuka is one of the races that's on next week. And maybe we'll do that. Well, there was. So I think I couldn't do the first couple races because I was taking Joe to work. Then there was downtime. So that scuppered doing it in the afternoon. And then I couldn't do it in the evening. So in the end, I was just, oh, this is useless. Max is down quite a lot in the middle sector, something that was the same in FP1. I mean, this will finish at 5, but I think the race is on at 5. The next race after that, I think, is 7. So in theory, I could jump on and do the 7 o'clock race. Maybe. Verstappen half a second down there. He lost a lot of time in that middle sector. He did have a fair bit of traffic as well, though. I don't know if that affected him. George Russell back out on another lap. Same set of softs. Piastri only a 10th down on Charles Leclerc. Okay, this is a better lap from Russell. Only a 10th down. Didn't look great through the chicane, though, from Russell. Alonso 1.5 tenths down as well. So it's all looking pretty close up there. Russell ends up 3.5 tenths down. I don't think the chicane was particularly good from him. Be right back. 1 second. Right, I'm back. Sorry, what did I miss? What did I miss, kids? Charles improves his time. Just trimming grass. It is that time of year. A Ferrari's looking quick, you know. Again, we don't know details of fuel loads and all the rest of it. There's always caveats. Should never get excited about times in practice, but I mean, it looks pretty quick. Yeah. You got Piastri in P2. Obviously, Norris bailed on his lap, so it's not really a true reflection of where he is. Hamilton 4 tenths down. Russell, well, they're both 4 tenths down. Yeah, and obviously both Red Bulls haven't quite hooked it up yet either. Well, yeah, Mercedes don't sandbag anymore. Usually when Mercedes are doing well in practice sessions now, it's because they've turned the engine up and other teams haven't. That tends to be the situation, doesn't it? I presume they've all started long runs now. Well, Perez does look like he's doing another quicker lap on the softs. Oh, he had to bail out of that. 2 fucking cars right in his way, leading down to the hairpin. Apparently, James Vowles was saying that Williams is like 15 kilograms overweight. We're talking about the Alpine being a boat. Apparently the Williams, according to James Vowles, is losing at least 4 tenths a lap due to being overweight. Max definitely... Listen, Red Bull might be not showing their true hand, but Max is not happy on the radio. He wasn't happy in FP1, and he's still not happy in FP2 either. And that tells you quite a lot. My God, I don't know, man. It's so difficult. Everything, man. This time, suddenly the front grips up a lot. I almost spin. Yeah, so he's not super happy with the way the car's handling. And he wasn't in FP1 either. Yeah, maybe it's the new dash. It's too heavy. Oh, that's a Mercedes in the way again. I don't know if that was George Russell or Lewis Hamilton. Oh, it was Lewis. Fucking hell, Max almost drove into him. Max was not very happy. He almost swiped into him. That's been at numerous times now. It's been Hamilton. Is Bono just not telling him? It's the job of his engineer to be telling him these things. Like, that must be like the 3rd one this session. Hmm. Max being a bit petulant there, I think. You know, Lewis obviously should have been moved out of the way. I don't know why he was where he was. Absolutely no idea. But Max being a little bit over the top there. It is a practice session at the end of the day. But yeah, Lewis has... you like to see that. They're dipping... You don't see that very often anymore. Formula One cars dipping wheels in gravel. Also, part of the problem with the current Formula One cars doing that is that the ground effect means that if they do run over a curb like that and into the gravel, the chances are something serious is going to happen because they're so low to the ground and they'll bottom out. Norris just doing race runs on the medium at the minute. Pretty much everyone's in the pits. A few cars out there, but nothing major. Question is what we do once this... One sec. Oh, just saying hello to Joe. Yeah. I I think there's a very good chance that Ferrari, I said this earlier, but based on what I've seen with Red Bull, and we know, right, Red Bull have had bad FP1s and FP2s so far this season, even when they were dominating. Well, they're still dominating, let's not get carried away, but then the following day, they found the sweet spot, you know, and Max has been able to pull the laps out in qualifying, so them struggling a little bit in FP1 and FP2 isn't a major thing at all. It's just not. But it just goes to show that they are having to work for it. It's not, you know, it's not completely there out of the box. They've still got to work for it a little bit. And Ferrari will be knocking, and McLaren. Yuki Tsunoda's done a practice start. Yep. Why has he done that? The practice starts in very different locations depending on the track. I'm not sure where it is in IMOLA. If it is in that, you know, that grid spot at the end of the pit lane. I don't think it is. I think it's further in. I think it's actually in the pit lane. I think it's actually in the pit lane for the practice starts. Yeah, so he's... I don't know why he's done that. It's a little bit like when Hamilton did it in... I want to say Russia a couple years ago. Yeah, it'll be a fine. It'll be... Also, it's the first weekend that Piastri's got the full upgrade package from McLaren as well. He only had half of it in Miami, and to be fair, he put in a good session at Miami before, you know, Carlos Sainz wrecking balled him into the second to last corner. They really thump over that chicane, don't they? They just absolutely thump over it. Doesn't look very comfortable. Hmm. He's got Damon Hill's got a piece on Sky talking about what an apex is. I mean, do we need a piece on what a wheel is as well? Like, what is a car? What I what I don't understand is why didn't they do all their long runs in the like the middle part of the session, and then do the qualifying runs right at the end when the track's, you know, as rubbered in as it could be. But they always do this. They do their qualifying sims usually like halfway through and then go on to long runs to end the session. But it must be a very efficient way of doing it for whatever reason, because all of the teams seem to do it in a similar way more often than not. Like, they're not obliged to do their session in a conformed way, yet they all seem to do something similar to one another. There's a Red Bull certainly not wanting to move out of the way for Carlos Sainz. I don't know which one. Oh my God, Christ, they almost made contact. I don't know if that was Max or... No, that was Checo. The thing is, they're both on race runs. That's why it wasn't moving out of the way. Do you know what? That side shot there of the Red Bull as the Ferrari goes past really shows just how much carbon is actually on that Red Bull. Like, I don't know if they've got more carbon on it or something, but it looks like around the Oracle, looks like there's more carbon than ever. I think it's always been there. It just, sometimes the blue just blends in on some camera shots with the black and you don't really notice it. But there is a substantial amount of carbon on that side pod, actually. I don't know if there's more there than there used to be. I feel like there is, but I'm sure there isn't. What great team radio to go back to, where Charles Leclerc says, "What the fuck?" And fuck is obviously bleeped out. So that was really worthwhile. Yeah, it's like, we've already seen this written out. We didn't need to hear it, did we? You know what? It hasn't benefited us to hear it. Uh, hmm. 20 low 21s for Max. Karun's just talking about this now. Well, other cars like the Charles Leclerc and Piastri on the same tyre are currently doing low 20s. Again, we don't know fuels and fuels. We don't know fuel or fuel loads and all the rest of it. So he's in the gravel. As I say that, down into Ravazza, off into the gravel he goes. He hasn't pitted. He's going to carry on. Yeah, listen. Again, like I say, we can't know for sure what's going on here, but it's not plain sailing for that Red Bull, for either Red Bull. Max isn't a happy bunny at the minute. So they've got work to do overnight, Red Bull. They've got a lot of work to do overnight. I thought he would have, honestly, with only 5 minutes to go, I thought after he went into the gravel there at Ravazza, he would have pitted. To tell you the truth, but he didn't. Oh, he's bailed out of this lap anyway. I mean, it was a race run, so it wasn't a quick lap. I do like the gravel down there, though. I do like the gravel down there. Oh, bloody Sainz into the... Oof. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm alright. What about you? Just checking out, just checking out FP2, seeing what's what. A lot of flow viz on that Williams. I'll be honest, I know, again, going back to what I've said a million times now, but I'll say it again. I know you can't judge too much from FP1 timings, but Williams are not exactly lighting up the timesheets at any point during FP1 or FP2. They're currently P18 and P20th with Albon and Sargent respectively. Sandwiched by Zhou Guanyu, who's, struggling, but... Hmm. James Allison, very optimistic. Yeah. James Allison thinks that the next upgrades Mercedes can bring, or the big upgrade package before the summer, has the possibility to bring them into contention for wins. Okay. Not sure about that, but, we'll see. Hmm. A big takeaway, as we pretty much end FP2 now, with 15 seconds to go. A big takeaway from this is Red Bull. Max seemingly very unhappy with the car. They have been struggling in the second sector more than most. We know that they're capable of pulling it out the bag. So I suppose my thoughts are really just to see what they bring tomorrow in FP3 and qualifying. If they can get a handle on their issues. Because if they can, obviously they'll be right back up there. We're not expecting Red Bull to be, 5th and 6th. But the only side of the garage we've seen complaining about the car has been Max, and he's noticeably had struggles. But Perez, we haven't really seen struggling, yet he's still got a slower lap time than Max. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Hamilton and Russell are, 3 or 4 tenths off Leclerc's time, but I'm not sure that's their true pace. I don't think 4th and 5th is, where they're actually at. Snowder up there in 3rd is obviously, pretty good lap time from him. Sainz got more in the bag. And you know that when Verstappen hooks up a lap, him and Perez have got more in the bag as well. We didn't see a good lap from Norris either because he bailed on his quick lap. So Norris would have been either 1st or 2nd. So it's looking very close between Ferrari and McLaren. And presumably, come qualifying tomorrow, Red Bull will be there or thereabouts as well. So, Leclerc looks strong this weekend. Leclerc looks strong. Right. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for watching. I will be live tomorrow for qualifying. I won't be live for FP3 in the morning, but I will be live for qualifying. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very, very much. I'm going to carry on over on Twitch. And I appreciate you very, very much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Now the question is what we play now on the egg, really, isn't it?